With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. Netflix execs say that they're not afraid of Disney's streaming service. Now, this new service that Disney has planned is, oh boy, it's going to rival Netflix. When they first announced it, I thought to myself, man, they're taking it on. they're taking it on. They're going to go after the big N. I understand that. And what competition is a healthy thing. It is. It's better for the consumer as a whole. And Disney is, quite frankly, the only company that could rival Netflix, just in terms of a sheer library and the popularity of said library. And then we learn that Netflix decided to, that Disney decided to purchase BAMTech, which is a streaming service, or streaming software service, essentially, over buying Twitter last year. And that was solidifying that their intent to move into the marketplace. And now, this $52 billion deal with Fox to acquire their library. Oh man, that's really going to open up what they've got on the service by not only having, let's say, all of Fox's movies, of which there are decades worth, but all their TV shows. Just imagine all seasons of The Simpsons right there, right? All of them right there, ready to go. That to me is important. That to me is a big deal. But I've been kind of curious to see whether or not Netflix would actually feel the heat from this. And it says here that they're not afraid. Netflix isn't afraid of competition from Disney's upcoming direct-to-consumer offering, executives said on Monday. We don't see it as a threat to any of us more than Hulu has been. Oh, Reed Hastings, what are you saying, man? How can you sit there and say, we don't see this as a threat to any of us more than Hulu has been? Dude, are you serious? Like, that is one of the most cocky and short-sighted things you could say right now. Now, granted, you're probably trying to buff out your chest a bit. You're throwing some shade back at Disney, right? You probably are trying to do that because you know that things have done well. Bright did exceptionally well for Netflix. I mean, like, so much so that they're like, critics suck an egg, man. Fans like this stuff. But ultimately, when you look at this year, Hulu has got about 8 to 10 million users, right? 8 to 10 million users, and it hasn't really been able to grow past that. A lot of that has to do with the contracts that the television companies sign, or the production companies that own the television shows sign with Hulu by, keeping it capped at like 4 or 5 episodes without previous seasons for new shows. It just makes it hard to get into. People lose interest and then they don't watch. Whereas Netflix will give you everything. One of the reasons why Netflix also has 100 million users and Hulu has 10% of that, if not less. So if they look at Disney's, decision to weigh into this, and they're basically trying to go, you're Hulu, baby, you're Hulu. It ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna fly. Ain't gonna fly one damn bit. Seriously, it won't work. He added that he expected Disney's service to be very successful because of the company's brands and content. Yeah. Look, man, I'm just being honest here. I got a 7-week-old daughter, okay? And by the time that she's old enough when this service comes to fruition, complete with all Fox's content, I can already tell you that for the most part, I will probably be watching a lot more Disney than I will be Netflix, simply because the vast amount of quality content that they will have aimed at children, like all the nostalgia content, is going to be there. And if you're asking me, like, well, do you want to like watch Paw Patrol on Netflix with your daughter, or do you want to show your daughter like a Goofy movie? I'll be like, Goofy movie all day, every day, man. Right? Like, I'm saying, like, there's not going to be much competition. Not if they bring all the Disney XD shows, the cartoon shows, right? Like, I mean, they've already got the app out right now, but if they put that into a straight streaming service, oh my God, man. Like, Reed, dude, no, you can't. Like, I understand you want to be cocky, but you got to be having a plan on the back end. And I know that plan will probably be to completely keep renewing all of the Marvel Netflix series for as long as you possibly can. But what about when Disney starts making those series for their own service? Because they gonna. I'm just saying, it's cocky, man. It's a little bit too cocky. He says, I know I'll be a subscriber of it. That's awesome. Disney announced last summer that it has plans to launch a Disney-branded video subscription service in 2019. As part of that effort, Disney chose not to renew its distribution agreement with Netflix, which means that theatrical releases from 2019 on will stream on Disney's own service instead. And in December, Disney announced the planned $52.4 billion acquisition of 20th Century Fox, which would ultimately further bolster Disney's services. Reed says here that I was surprised as anyone that Fox was willing to sell, but he also tried to assure consumers that the impact of the deal will be minimal. These big U.S. media company mergers are pretty peripheral to us, and that is actually very true. It really is. The merger of the company, or not really the merger, it's straight up freaking acquisition, $52.4 billion. Disney paid out $4 billion for Marvel, $4.8 billion or $4.6 billion or $4.06 billion for Lucas. Okay, so I mean, we're talking 10 times, plus per, if you break down the sales for Fox. So he's again, like, this is the peripheral thing. Dude, come on, man. Like, that's no small thing. However, Netflix is committed to releasing excellent content. And they know that they've got the market share. They know that people, they know that they're bringing out, they got movies up for Oscar nominations right now. Like, they know what they're doing. And at no point am I trying to sit there and say that Reed doesn't know what he's doing and everything else. But saying that it's like, not a big deal is going to be an issue, I think, somewhere down the road. Because ultimately, I think Netflix will be fine. No one's going to lose out on anything. Hulu is probably going to be the one that hurts the most, to be honest with you. Most people really only want to pay for 2, maybe 3 services, ultimately. So if you've got Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon, and you already pay for Amazon Instant because that comes with the service and you already use it, well, which one are you going to, which one are you going to clip? That would probably be Hulu. However, just as a side thing to that, so you figure with the purchase of Fox, then Disney gets a controlling stake in Hulu. Now, Disney could also then take BAMTech or whatever their service is going to be and attach it to Hulu. So then those people who want to get all access to that information can just go through one app and just pay the extra service fee. That's something as well. And if they combine that together, which they might actually be able to do now that they have the controlling stake, or when the deal goes through, provided the government approves it, again, it's going to be very interesting when you start looking at it from just a business perspective. Again, I can appreciate the cockiness of Reed Hastings here, and I respect the dude to no end. He's done things that are just amazing for not only online streaming, but revolutionized the video, the movie world, and putting in money, billions worth of content every single year is awesome. So I have nothing but mad respect, but I don't want him to feel like, I don't want him to not be on his toes, because he needs to be. And now he also argued that Netflix won't feel much of the impact of Disney movies disappearing from the service. It's great content, but we need to be able to grow without it just fine, but we are able to grow without it just fine. He said, adding that the current output deal has been limited to the United States. And that ultimately is where a lot of this boils down to. It is just in the United States, because the domestic market is where most of the money comes from, at least most of the profit comes from. And that's the deals they want to have. And so as a result, we're going to see a lot of that. That's going to be coming up a lot here. And I'm probably overthinking the situation a little bit. I am pretty sure Reed is saying these comments predominantly in jest, and that they do have a strategy for continuously growing while still battling Disney. And the likelihood of that would be getting themselves out to more territories with more people, bolstering subscriptions, and going from there. Netflix is not going to lose out. It's not going to lose any money, and it's not going to fall apart anytime soon. Right? It's just not. And as a result of that, I just have to kind of laugh and talk about it, because I don't want them to find themselves in a position where Disney is outfox Netflix. I want them to more outfox Disney, to be honest with you, because Disney is really big and really powerful, and while they put out good content, I do think they need to be knocked down a peg or two.